So what's the constitutionality of prayer in public places?
There's an absolute guarantee that allows prayer in public places in the Constitution. It's called the First Amendment. And there are people who are fighting to overturn that with court decisions.
I am a religious person. When I want to go to have a prayer in a public place, I go to something called a church. I don't go to the city council meeting in my county in Maryland, and I shouldn't have to see the same thing occur in Greece, New York, or anywhere else.
Dave Shoemaker is on Washougal's City Council. He and another council member are advocating for prayer in public meetings.
One of our members, Connie Joe Freeman, brought forth the proposal to have a prayer at the beginning and the ending of meetings to invoke the blessing of the Almighty on what we're doing and ask for His guidance. Seems appropriate for me. The opposition came out with a series of objections. Probably the most significant one was the supposed wall of separation between church and state.
The wall of separation was first penned by Thomas Jefferson in 1802 in a letter to Danbury Baptist Church of Connecticut. In this letter, he refers to the First Amendment, which states, "Make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, thus building a wall of separation between church and state." Supporters of prayer in public places interpret the wall of separation as meaning the government cannot interfere with your religious rights. Opponents interpret the wall of separation as calling for strict division between government and religion.
Unfortunately, the wall of separation has been misinterpreted by people who think that any prayer in public places should be precluded. To people who say that I'm trying to force my religion on them, I would say I'm merely exercising my right to be religious. They don't have to participate.
The Supreme Court recently agreed to hear a lawsuit challenging prayers before a New York Town Board meeting. Barry Lynn of Americans United is involved in this lawsuit, which is similar to debates happening in Washougal.
Yeah, when an organization like a city council or a school board begins almost all or all of its sessions with a Christian prayer, it does send a message to people in the community who are not Christians that perhaps they're not full-fledged citizens, that they don't really belong. So we believe in a strict separation of church and state, one that recognizes that in the long run, governments are best and institutions of religion are best if they keep separate from each other.
But Dave Shoemaker says the Constitution gives citizens the right to have prayer anywhere.
The founding fathers of our country were very much aware of the tendency of governments to oppress the very people that they were founded to serve. Freedom of religion is a God-given right. No government can take it away. They can oppress it, but they can't take it away from you. You can't have a large, all-encompassing government that regulates everything you do and still have individual freedom. And individual freedom is what this country was all about.
Which groups would be opposed to prayer in public places?
Atheists, people who are irreligious, but I think mainly it's a political issue by people who would change the character of the American people. And I would call that group progressives. And the progressives have been trying to root religion out of the character of the American people for some time, maybe 100 years.
What's your final goal? Why have this discussion?
It's about reasserting the principles of the Constitution, reasserting the First Amendment in a climate in which it's under attack.
One way to split the difference here is for like-minded members of the town council, for example, to get together before the official business meeting and pray together whatever they want to whatever God they choose, and then when the business gets started, stick to the cable television contract, fixing the potholes, shoveling the snow, and doing the other things that all of the community, religious and non-religious, believe needs to be done by local government.
But Shoemaker believes that the city will benefit from prayer in council meetings.
By opening and closing the city council with prayer, I think we would recognize our dependence on the Almighty. We would have the opportunity to ask for His guidance, His inspiration, and believe me, we need some. It might enable us to, it would probably remind us that we need to be tolerant of other points of view.
What would happen if someone from another religion wanted to open or close? Would that be accepted?
Absolutely. And in fact, courts have said that that's a requirement. If you have one, you must have others. And I think it's a good opportunity to understand how religiously diverse our community is. In fact, since the 1st of May, 1789, the first meeting of the House of Representatives, where the House of Representatives elected a chaplain, they have opened each meeting with a prayer, up until today. The Senate has done likewise since the 25th of April, 1789. It's a wonderful tradition, it's a long tradition, it's a well-established tradition, and it's one that I'd like to see us establish and maintain and relish here in Washougal.